Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I have another one of my misunderstood movie reviews today, and for those that have been following my channel they will know that I have started a series of videos called Misunderstood Movies, and these are movies that I think are deserving of a bit more respect and attention and deserve an audience. And they could have failed for a lot of reasons. They could have failed critically, or they could have failed financially at the box office. It doesn't matter to me. Essentially, these are movies that are considered to be failures, but I actually think are pretty good movies, really, and you should check them out. So what I've got for you today is Solomon Kane, the movie that is based on the Robert E. Howard character, the same guy who created the Conan series of books, etc., that were obviously made into successful movies. And it's a lesser known character, Solomon Kane, but some would argue a far more cooler character than Conan. And this film is essentially the origin story for this character Solomon Kane, and my understanding was that this was hopefully going to spawn two sequels, so it will be like a trilogy of movies. But because the film failed financially, the other two movies never materialised, unfortunately. Now, for those that don't know who Solomon Kane is a character who, when we first meet him at the beginning of this movie, is a very evil, nasty character who murders and pillages to the point where we see at the beginning of the movie the devil essentially has sent death to come and claim his soul. But he is not ready to give it up yet, Solomon Kane. And he fights back, and he jumps out of a window at the beginning of the movie to escape this creature, death. And then it switches to 1 year later, and he's completely renounced his violent ways. He's living in a monastery. He is a religious man now, a man of peace, and he's got, as you can see in the picture there, he's got like crucifixes all over his body to protect himself from these evil creatures that are searching for him to take his soul. And he's told, really, at the beginning by the monks at the monastery that he has to leave. His purpose is somewhere other than there, and he does reluctantly. And we see early on that he finds, as you can see in the picture there, he finds a very nice family. The father is Pete Postlethwaite, and he has a real connection to this family, especially the daughter, who's very kind to him. And he travels with them for a while until there is like an evil spreading the land. There's an evil wizardy guy called Malachi, and he's sending out these bad guys out into the country, and there's one masked big monstrous guy who is turning everybody into these zombie type things, followers of this Malachi, and all you have to do is touch you and you get like this evilness come over you, and that's it, you're now a follower. And it's sweeping the land, this evil, and unfortunately the people that Solomon's travelling with come up against these evil people, and it doesn't end well for the family. But Solomon doesn't fight back initially because he's a man of peace and he doesn't want to. But eventually he has no choice and he has to fight back. And it's a wonderful scene because he's like pleading with God and saying, what do you want from me? I'm trying not to be violent, sort of thing. And he comes out, I think, with one of the best lines ever in a movie. He says to one of the bad guys, he says, if I kill you, I'm bound for hell. It is a price I am willing to pay. And then boom, we see Solomon Kane kicking ass and taking names, and from that moment on he is badass again. But he's doing it not for evil ways, he's doing it to help save this family's girl who's been taken. So that's essentially the story that we get here. We also learn some of his past in regards to his father and his brother, and this kind of all ties together by the end of the movie. So that's the kind of the story that we get here. Wonderful, wonderful movie this. If you like fantasy movies, things like Conan and all that kind of stuff, you really are going to love this. It's really well made. The action's really good. The first 25-30 minutes are immaculate. You know, the setup of showing him evil and then him changing his ways and then trying to be a peaceful man and then his final push and shift to him becoming this Solomon Kane character is just wonderful. It does suffer a little bit from a bit of a soft underbelly. We get about 20-25 minute quiet a bit where it's kind of weak, and then it's a pounding finish to this movie. A very, very impressive movie. I can kind of understand why it failed, even though James Purfoy is perfect as Solomon Kane. I think if they'd have cast a bigger name, that potentially would have drawn a bit more attention to the movie. It wasn't promoted particularly well. A lot of people probably don't even know this movie exists. And it really is a hidden gem. Far, far better. And I mean, I can't stress enough, far better than the terrible Conan remake that they made in 2011 with Jason Momoa. This is far superior to that movie in every way. And if you're wanting a film of that kind of genre, this is the one to get. Solomon Kane. It deserves to get a second life. This movie. It really, really is very, very good. A really, really cool character. The film doesn't really massively fail on any level. The action's great. The acting's good. The effects are very good. The story's good, the setup, everything is pretty good. It does kind of, like I say, suffer a little bit from that slow period after like the initial 30 minutes. But if this is a movie you've never seen, if this is a movie you've never heard of, trust me, give this movie a watch and see what you think. It's probably not going to blow you away unless you're into these sort of movies. But it is definitely worthy of your attention, and you'll watch it and you think, I didn't know, I realised I missed this movie. But even if you have watched it and you kind of dismissed it first time round, give it another go as well. A very, very good movie this, and worthy of a second watch, or even worthy of a first watch. Give it a try.